Wala.
Okay na
So
sa
far,
akin?
wala.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay
Three
na?
minutes.
Walang
Yes,
background?
3 minutes and counting. So, friends, feel free to join this Zoom meeting, this webinar. The topic of this webinar is the leader I want to become. The leader is my spelling correct?
Mm.
The leader I want to become. Um, so please log in. You may have to download Zoom if you have not downloaded Zoom, and install it in your device. And then you have to log into your Zoom account. You have to log into your Zoom account before you can participate in this workshop. In order to log in your Zoom account, you just have to log in using Facebook or using your Google account. So no problem. So I'm waiting for Kem. Actually, Kem confirmed that she will attend. She will join us, and also Amy. So paging Amy. See Amy. Even if no deaf participant will come to this workshop, feel free to join this webinar. Okay, because what we will discuss will also benefit the deaf. See, so 1 minute before we officially start. So calling last minute call for all. Glo, manamagan ka naman. So invitees po.
Hello, friends on FB. I would like to appeal to you, yung nag-confirm. Join na kayo ngayon. Diba? Maaga, kagabi pa nag-confirm na yung iba, tapos yung iba kanina. So, join us. Napakahalagang topic ang i-discuss ngayon. So, magagamit na natin ito sa ating grupo, mga groups natin,
Yeah.
sa workplace, sa business place, anywhere we can use this. This is a useful topic.
All right. Okay. So I will start the timer now.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Okay. We'll start. We're officially starting this webinar. Okay. So this webinar is about leadership. It's about leadership, and I'd like to I'd like to start off with a little negative note. Okay, with a little negative note. And this negative note is while I was inviting friends to join this webinar, I had to face some criticism, some criticism from friends. It affected me a little because they were not ordinary friends. They were good friends. Okay? They were good friends. They were important friends of mine. And the criticism was, why is why is Rome doing this webinar, this particular topic, when the whole world is worried about COVID, when the whole world should be discussing the coronavirus. So I just, of course, just kept silent. This was in a group chat. It's in a group chat. Of course, I just kept silent and just resolved, deepened my resolve to continue with this event, with this activity. Because I felt that at this time we shouldn't be only talking about the coronavirus as a problem. We should also be doing what we are usually doing even without the coronavirus. Okay? Because this is the time now where leaders should step up. Okay? This is the time where leaders should stand up and do what they are usually doing, leading people in whatever direction, in whatever direction. They shouldn't be hindered. They shouldn't be hindered by the coronavirus. One case in point, one case in point, a teacher, a college faculty president, she said that this is the time to stop online teaching from the top. Okay, this is from top management. From top management, they have decided that this is not the time for online teaching. I was baffled. I was, I was expecting more. I was expecting a lot from this college, this university, and it, that's one of the reasons why I came up with this webinar. Okay, because this should be the time for the teachers to lead, okay, to lead classes, to lead their classes, to lead their colleagues in faculty, to continue, okay, to continue their regular classes. And there is the tool. We have the tool. We have this Zoom. We can do it. They can do it. They can continue to do what they have been doing, leading students. But sad to say, the reason was well, not all students have access to internet connection, to good internet connection. I think that's a reality, right? It's a reality that we all have to face. But let's say one out of 100 students, let's say 20 don't have access to internet connection. What about the 80? What about the 80 students? They could, I mean, and for the 20 students, they should have to catch up. I mean, they also have the responsibility to catch up. So and Gloria's experience also. Okay. Gloria was under fire for in her own organization. And so behind the scenes, we were discussing and trying to motivate Gloria to step up, be a leader, even if she doesn't have a position in that organization. Okay? Because I think leaders don't have to be elected as president in order to be a leader. You don't have to be elected as president of the Philippines in order to become a leader. The one who determines that he is a leader, first and foremost, would be the person himself. Okay? So I'm admitting some more. Yes. Okay, good morning. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Amy. Okay. Okay. Hello, good morning, Amy. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Okay. Amy will be our sign language translator. We're expecting some deaf participants, and of course, this broadcast will be for our deaf participants too. Okay. And okay, so the first person who will say that he is a leader, or the first person who will elect himself would be the person himself. Okay. Like in my case, okay, who, who is this? Who is this video journalist putting up live programs? I did. Okay, I did because this is what I can do. This is what I can contribute. This is what I'm good at. This is what I trained for. I besides there's no job opening at the ABS-CBN, so no, because I tried. I tried several times to apply. I even got good positions with Bloomberg TV Philippines. Didn't last long for some political office politics problems. But what's stopping me? Okay, what's stopping me from doing what I was trained to do? Okay, we have the technology, so it's a matter of saying that I am a leader in my own regard. So same with Gloria, for example. She has no official position in that organization. So I keep telling Gloria, you have to be the first person to elect yourself as the leader. And okay, so I think what? Oops, we have one more guest. Okay, admit. Oh, si Cam. Cam is here. Hello, Cam. Good morning, Cam. Cam is one of our deaf participants. Okay, so Cam, good morning, Cam. Cam is also a leader. Yes. So the leader I want to become. That's the question for everybody. Okay, I think that's the first question for everybody. But question for everybody, okay? Just ask yourself, do you want to become a leader in the first place? Okay, do you want to become a leader? Okay, that's something you have to first think about. Do you? Are you up to it? Are you up to the challenge to become a leader? Okay, some questions. Why become a leader? Why do I have to become a leader? I'm happy with my life. Happy. Should you? Should you become a leader? Do you? Do you want to become a leader? If I want to become a leader, what do I want to become a leader for? Whom should I lead? Where should I lead them to? Okay. So if the answer is no, then that's the end of the conversation. But if the answer is yes, then the second question would be, what kind of leader do I want to become? What kind of leader do I want to become? And am I the kind of leader who will lead my constituents to something good? Am I the kind of leader who will destroy other leaders because they're competition? Especially in the persons with disabilities group, so many organizations. And if you put up another one, it will be perceived as a competitor. Are you a leader who perceive other leaders as competitors? Now, I think in order for us to answer what kind of leader we want to become, okay, I think we have to answer. Okay, we have to answer a question. Okay, like um, what is or what are our priorities? Okay, priorities. This is something I learned from my father. What are your priorities? Okay. And from my father, he has helped me identify in order of priority also. First priority is God. First priority, God. Second priority, country. Third priority, family. Fourth priority is the self. For many of us, we may agree with the first priority, which is God. I think in principle, we can all agree. But in practice, it's not as easy. It's not as easy to prioritize God. Well, primarily because it's hard to know what God is thinking about. And this, I suppose, something I learned from the Jesuits, from the Society of Jesus. They have this skill, which is, they call it discernment. Discernment. We discern, the Jesuits discern the Spirit of God. And in terms of human activity, I think the first thing we need to do is open ourselves to God like a blank check. Okay, like a blank check. God, this is my life. What do you want me to do with my life? Okay, and probably God would be silent most of the time. But in most cases, He would say, what do you want with your life? What do you want to do with your life? Maybe I like it too. Okay, so this constant conversation with God as to what He wants you to do. Maybe we call it vocation. Your vocation. What is God calling you to do? Okay, and in this case, maybe He's calling you to religious life. Maybe He's calling you to become a priest. Maybe He's calling you to become a sister, a religious sister or religious brother. Second, He may be calling you as a married man, as a married woman, as a family person. Okay. And thirdly, He may be calling you to a life of single blessedness. He may be calling you to become single, to be blessedly single, married to your career. Okay, so that's one way of trying to understand and to hear what God may be calling you to do. Okay. Okay. And then there's this aspect of maybe God is also waiting for you to lead Him. Like, God, I feel you. I feel you. You want me to do this. Okay, please help me achieve this. Okay, these are the things that I need. These are the things that I need to know. Please help me learn this. These are the things that I have to have. Please help me get it. It's a constant dialogue with God. And the second priority is country. My father told me country goes before family. And for me, that's the most difficult thing to grapple with. Okay? To prioritize your country above your family. Okay? So my my f- my first job, in fact, was a community organizer. Okay? I was a community organizer with the urban poor because I wanted to apply what my father told me about prioritizing the country over family. Okay? And at that time, my mother, who is with us in this webinar, she needed me financially. She needed me financially, but I had to choose whether to to start a career in community organizing and suffer the consequences of not being able to support my mother, who was recently became a widow. Um, I chose my country over my family. So, but it's not something instant. Okay, it's not something instant. It's a continuous question you have to ask yourself on a day-to-day basis. So, so there are two dogs. Can the dog talk? Okay. Amy is having a hard time translating the dog barking. Anyway, we'll do our best.
Please mute Gloria.
Hello.
Oo nga, maybe I can mute Gloria first. I will mute Gloria. Ayan, di pa naman kailangan si Gloria. Okay, nakamute ka, Glo. Thank you, Mario. Okay. Um, okay. Another concrete practice of prioritizing country before family. Okay, this particular broadcast, okay, I had to spend for software, for Zoom, for Be Live, for you know, uh, now where does the pinch? Who is hurt by the pinch of me spending on this on this software? Si mother, my mother, because I had to delay my contribution for the family expenses at home. And because I'm living with my mom and my son. Okay, so we have our monthly expenses. So I had um, to delay some of my financial contributions to my mother. Okay. So I just noticed, Amy, that your name tag here is Rom Kumagun. So uh, so see Amy Gabrielle is okay. So maybe she used my link. Anyway, um, so that's one question you have to be constantly asking: yung priorities. What are your priorities compared to country and you and okay, I think we have no, between country and self. Okay. And then third, yung family na. Okay, the family. Okay, the family. Um, family is easy, right? When you decide things about family, it's a natural priority. It almost comes instantly. Okay, almost comes instantly that you want to really give full time for your family. You want to really give your best, give your all. I can think of my brother. My brother has only one son, and yet he gives his all. He gives his all for my nephew. Nothing for himself, almost nothing left for himself. He's also a widower, by the way, and all he thinks about is his son. And I constantly say to him, brother, think of yourself too. Okay, think of yourself too. Not always prioritizing your son. Besides, your son is already a professional. You did your part in putting him through college, and yet his son is on top of his mind. And then, of course, the fourth priority in order is yourself. Okay, what things you have to do to enjoy yourself. Okay, and I think that's the most natural thing to do. Give time for yourself, prioritizing yourself. So those four priorities, okay, in order: God, country, family, and self. And it all boils down to leadership. Okay, what kind of leader do you want to become? What kind of leader do you want to become? Using those priorities, priorities of God, country, family, and self. And these things do not happen easily. These things don't happen instantly. They they undergo stages. They undergo a process until you reach a time when you are when you feel you're ready. In my case, for example, it is only recently that I have come to identify and define myself as a person with disability advocate. At first, I didn't uh, accept that I am of a I am one of a person with disability. I I think of myself as a regular person, and okay, but in way back 2011, I think, okay, there was a year, an entire year of my life when I just stayed in bed. I took a bath only once for the entire year. And it was the rest of the time I was in bed. I didn't want to care. I didn't want to proceed. And didn't want to proceed, so I just had to to sleep as much as I can. And it was my mother who forced the issue, who forced me to see the doctor. It was my mother forced me to see the doctor, and it was at that time when I was diagnosed by the doctor to have a condition called manic depressive, okay, bipolar. I had to take some medicine, and which I did take medicine, and but then after a while I stopped taking the medicine. I said I tried to solve this on a more natural basis. So more relaxation techniques to keep myself, because my main issue with medicine is it will dampen my creativity. Okay, it will dampen my spirits. So I said I will not take medicine and try to do some natural methods of doing it. And then as I look back through my personal history, the first symptom was 1990s when Gloria and I were colleagues. I had some fits of of the manic side. Okay, and the second episode was when I was in Bahrain. When I was in Bahrain, eh, I had another episode in Bahrain. I didn't know what was happening until my mother forced me to see the doctor in 2012. 2012. 2013, 2014, I said I will resume my active life in communication, blogging, things like that. 2015, 16, 17, 18. So now it's 2020. I've uh, I've discovered this Facebook Live. It's Facebook Live, this Zoom, this Be Live, and these are the things that I have been looking for 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 a long time. So I've decided and I've defined for myself this is where I want to become a leader of. I want to become a leader in video journalism, online video journalism. I want to become a leader for students. Okay. I want to become a leader for people who want to become lifelong learners. Okay, because I think everybody should be always trying to learn something new every day. I want to become a leader for persons with disabilities because I sincerely and deeply believe that disability shouldn't be an excuse to do what you are meant to do. Disability is just a condition, it is a limitation, but never a deterrent to do. Okay? Like what Kay said in the previous broadcast, disability does not mean you are not able. Maybe you have some disability with one aspect of your physical life, but what about the rest of your body? What about the rest of your okay? Look at the possibility, not the disability, like what Kay said. And I am not an unfinished project. I am an ongoing project. My project in leadership is an ongoing project. How effective I am as a leader still left to be seen. So in this webinar, I suppose I'd like to invite everybody to answer for yourself, what leader do you want to become? Okay. So I will now ask, okay, I will now ask my friends, what kind of leader do you want to become? I think I should ask Kem first. Kem, Kem, first question, Kem, are you a leader?
Uh, I am a leader of the deaf community among the leaders.
Mhm. In what way do you see the deaf community? Uh, how do you? In what way are you leading the deaf community?
First, I lead them by meeting with them, and also wait. First, I'm going to lead them by uh, making a schedule or appointments with them, and or in order for them to, uh, I will help them by teaching them a good example.
Can you, what are examples of the good examples that you like to teach?
Wait, for example, I'm going to teach them about our advocacy. Example, yung about my business or having a business, or empowering them to become uh, leaders as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Kim, what are some examples of your achievements as leader?
Uh, Being a successful leader, how how what are the steps that I made? Um, Knowing my responsibility, knowing my advocacy, and then these deaf people are going to look at me or watch me. It's like helping them to, for example, in a good business that I have, I am helping them or teaching them about business on how to start up or on their own.
Mhm. Kim, would you like to ask me something?
For me, to those of you, I think I just like to thank for having an accessibility to our interpreters as well. Anyway, what I ask from you is to support as well, or coordinate as well with us as deaf. And the third one is to also help the deaf community to find work and have awareness about us. And the fourth one is um I just need to I just I'm just I just want to ask you to also hoping that you will learn sign language as well, kasi that would be one of the access and to help the deaf community, and also yung magkaroon sila ng business and work.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim. Yes, I started to study sign language. I have a book, in fact. I have a book on sign language. I started working with because in my previous college, they're very active in helping um, the deaf. So in some way, I started learning. Maybe this is the best time to practice for me. I will. I will. Thank you, Kim.
Okay, uh, pag sa if it's in the book po, it's not that easy kasi there are some signs that you need to see through videos. Do not base much on the book, because for me the book is really when you meet deaf personally or through video calls, there's a difference on the signs between the book and the reality. So for you to practice, you need to have more exposure with the deaf community and also to have experience on it. And also you should be using facial expressions because it's connected with the body. And for example, if you're mad, you're going to show that you're mad there.
Mhm. Oh, you know what, Kem? While you're telling me this, I
Oh, I'm just going to add something. In my own experience, I didn't learn how to sign before because I was being forced speech, orally talking, oral therapy. I was forced to do that. And then then second my second language was really sign language. So I told them to respect what I have and also uh, even reading lips sometimes I can, and I can uh, mostly what I do is sign language for communication as well.
you know what, Kem? While you're telling me this, what came to my mind is we can come up with a live broadcast, and we can have some kind of an instructional broadcast. You're teaching somebody, maybe teaching me, teaching Glo how to do sign language, and we can do it on air as something like that. um, okay.
Can be.
Yeah. Thank you, Kem.
Uh, Anytime if you what's really important is you it's like you write the word on a paper and then show it to me, then I will teach you how to sign that word. It's a step-by-step process anyway. And it's easy for communication because, for example, if there's setting aside the interpreter, if there's something you want to sign to me, you have to have eye contact because of course, I understand that hearing people can read, but for us, it's visual. So we use signs or sign language. So sometimes what the interpreter does, he or she hears what you are saying and then signs it to me. So you can, if there's an interpreter, you can also write the words and then I'll teach you how to sign. That's a step process that would be understood by the deaf.
Okay. Um, Kem, um, as a leader, what else do you need to improve on as a leader?
What I need to improve more is I think I need to have leadership trainings. I need help from other people. I need also feedback. And kasi that's where I learn from. And I really want to learn more about leadership and also to become to improve and to grow in that being a leader and also to know what are the other responsibilities on how to be a leader. For example, being a leader is not panicking.
Mhm. You mentioned training. Can you identify certain trainings that you need?
Um, before when I started being a leader, the trainings that I had is like, what do I need to become a leader? They told me to you should have good communication skills. You should stand up on your own, and there shouldn't be communication barriers. Yeah.
Mhm.
And very important in that training that I had was there must be feedback that would happen. And then the second one, there must be, for example, some people would say, I do not understand that word, so I better explain them for them to understand really what the concept is and the word. And also, of course, very important, there should always be an interpreter. So when it comes to business, I had training before I had come up with my own business. So because they told me I must know what to do.
Kem, do you hold any official position in any organization?
Uh, Before I had a position, but now I'm on my own. I'm just focusing on my business, line of business, and maybe I can lead the deaf by informing them about this pandemic, coronavirus, and also become it's that that's the first. I think that's the first how I become a leader.
What was your position before in the organization? And what is the organization that you held an officer position?
I think I was with the Philippine Federation of the Deaf, and my position was like uh, leading the school activities. Because after graduation from college, I stopped being a leader because I focused on my work. And uh, last year I decided to help the deaf, that they will be the next leaders. And maybe in this coronavirus pandemic, I can be a leader without a position.
So how are you leading the deaf now? I mean, how do you communicate with the deaf that you want to lead now?
Uh, we use, of course, sign language, and then we they we practice it through video calls that we have. And if there's a need to be teaching them, they would call me. That's how we communicate. And the third one is also teaching the deaf about business if they want to have business. If they have no work, or the first thing is, I also train the deaf to join in my in teaching them sign language as well. If that's how, because that's one way of empowering the deaf community, and so on. And also for example, with the words that they do not understand, they would ask me, and I'll clarify with them.
So how many deaf are you in a way leading? How many deaf are you leading?
For now, it's really few. uh I think now it's like four of them,
Four.
four
Okay.
deaf. And then I'm also having an extra deaf also to be trained. If they don't have work, I can still teach them, and they would become leaders as well. And more
Yes, yes.
communication is needed.
Yes, four is a good number. Okay, four is a good. When did you start helping leading this four deaf?
I think if I can remember, last January.
January 2020.
And also, hearing people are also included. They are, I think, two of them,
Mhm,
and I trained them to
mhm,
become interpreters as well.
mhm.
And if there's a problem, they come to me and teach them how to sign for communication purposes. So they're all in all are six. There are six.
Oh, not bad, not bad. And I failed to mention in my in my speech, in my presentation, that the only way to do this is to do this one person at a time. We lead one person at a time. And since you're leading six now, that's a good number. Okay, that's a good number. Okay, so keep up the good work, Kem.
Oh yes. I think you can be Miss Gloria can be included as well, and I will teach him. I will teach her how to sign, and because this is a PWD advocate, I can.
Yes, include us, include me too, because I'm beginning to feel the need now. I'm beginning to feel the need to learn. So include me. I still don't know how we are going to do it because uh, maybe the first is I can join your group. Maybe Glo and I can join your group, and then we'll work out the time. The time is another factor, but I'm sure we can do something. Okay. I want to learn, for sure. That's for sure. Okay. So
Uh, Ken would just like to add.
yeah,
What's the reason for this learning how to sign? Yes, of course, it's for communication purposes. And in communicating with this, it's like if you communicate, I just like to inform you that sign language is not universal. So, of course, the purpose of this is for communication. But in international, it's different signs. They have their own signs as well. So, the second thing is we we have skills, of course. So it's like we just don't have to ignore them. And this time, I think we have to accept, of course, uh, if you're skilled in sign, you know how to help the deaf community. If you don't know how to sign, it's really important that you have the skills. Also, if you just to know, just for your information, if you don't know how to sign, you can write.
yes,
I have a
yes. Thank
question.
you. Ken. Okay, Mario. Yes.
Ah, I've always known that there was only international standard when it comes to sign language. I thought the ASL or the American Sign Language was the only standard that everyone was following. And now I hear that there's actually a local standard, it seems. So the question is, how is ASL different from what is being used in the Philippines? Ano yung pinagkaiba ng ASL dun sa sign language na ginagamit sa Pilipinas?
Wait lang.
Okay, sige. Thank you, Mario, for that question. That's a very detailed question, very technical. We will postpone. Okay, we will postpone answering that until a later date. Maybe we can have a more detailed broadcast for that. Okay. Now I'd like to pass the opportunity now for Miss Gloria Antuerfia. Gloria, what kind of leader do you want to become?
Yes. Of course, I want to become a leader. Uh,
Gloria, I'd like to boss you for that, okay? Because you use the word, of course. Okay.
Ay, okay, okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Because I always caution my friends when they answer a question
yeah,
with "of course." I think it's better to say yes. Yes, I want to become a leader, rather
yes,
than say, "Of
I want to
course, I
become a
want to
leader.
become a leader." There's a big difference between saying yes, I want to become leader, than of course I want to become a leader. I don't know that you want to become a leader. Yeah, I don't know that. So it's not a matter of course. It's a matter of decision. It's a
Yes,
yes or no
okay.
question. Okay.
Thanks
So
for the correction. Yes,
proceed.
that's, yeah. Yes, I want to become a leader. And to become a leader is you should know, first of all, you have to know the person what you're talking to. The first step is getting to know, and you should be sensitive. Sensitive
And then
in the sense of,
Please,
uh,
Glo, I like to interrupt you. Please speak from the first person point of view. Okay. Don't
okay,
You're using the second person point of view. You're saying you. You have to say I, because the question is, do you want to become a leader? You said yes. So speak from the first person point of view, meaning I.
yes, I want to become a leader. To The reason is to help them in my own special way, in so many ways, because I am doing this for so many years now. It's almost 3 years now that I'm doing this, and I have some organizations that one organization is that the it's a livelihood program, and I was elected. I'm not as leader as the president, but I was elected as overall treasurer for that organization. So they really depend on me when during in the absence of the president, they count on me. So what is the responsibility? I am clear with that. So a good leader should be sensitive enough to the needs of the individual in a group. So I should be sensitive with that. Know the background. That's important, and know their body language. uh, Having an eye contact. So that's one of the important to be a leader. And I was also elected as this is a tough job because I was elected just recently before 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago before the community quarantine. I was elected at Amang Rodriguez Rizal as elected as president of all the PWDs having their checkups, dialysis, chemotherapy, uh, what's this, physical therapy, and other matters when it comes to medication. So this was held by the uh, what's this Department of Social Services under DOH at Amang Rodriguez. What's the reason why they had this meeting and instant election of officers? By the way, the participants are from Quezon City, Antipolo, Kogyo, Pasig, Montalban, and Marikina. So I was blessed that they this task was when I had received this task. I know this is a tough job, and to be a leader, you should know the responsibility. You should know the sensitivity of the hospital. Where they ask for this, where they need to have a president, a good leader in that hospital for the in behalf of the PWDs. I know the reason why. So you should I for me I should be uh, clear enough to know what is my responsibility to accept that kind of position. So that's it. And the head of the social services department talked to me personally, and I told her, yes, ma'am, I am doing that for 3 years now, and I have so many patients referred to this hospital already. So they are happy for me because they told me that, oh, you are already doing what is a good leader is doing. So I was flattered, but of course I still have to learn more by attending trainings and seminars. I'm aware of that I should still have to learn because learning is a process. Learning is a continuous process because every time you attended a training or seminar, there is always something you can have you can put in mind. Then you can apply it into your constituents. And to tell you, I am not only focusing on the PWDs. Everybody who wants my need, everybody who needs my help, I am helping them. So that's it. We have also in our office that there are some who are availing PWD IDs. I am very sensitive with them because when they enter the main entrance, they quite hesitant. They don't know what to do. So I am sensitive to that. I keep on uh, telling them that come here, come here. What do you want? So they saw in me that this lady can help me. So I am that will be the starting point for me to ask questions, to know them, to know what they need, and to know the background until we get into the point that this is what I want. Can you help me? So on the spot, I am trying to help them on my at my very best. So everything comes out for the best. So that's it. That's what a good leader for me. That all things well. And even on Facebook, I received some comments that they need my help, asking for seeking for some agency, some government agency where to seek help, medical assistance. So I help them. I even put myself into the situation na ako na lang, pag hindi mo kaya, ako na lang yung pupunta sa PCSO, sa PAGCOR, Office of the President, sa DSWD. So I always do that. There are some comments, negative comments that, Ma'am Glo, you should not do that. They should do that for themselves. But for me, no. No, because a good leader, you should be sensitive enough to the situation of the person who needs your help. So so far, hindi ako nagkaroon ng problema with that kind of situation. And sa different conditions ng mga patients na tinutulungan ko, actually, good example, some example is that I have a client, she really needs hospitalization and she doesn't know where to go. They have her son had a checkup in a private pedio doctor. Then they told me, Ma'am Glo, I give her my number that, Ma'am Glo, can you help me? Because the pedio doctor wants me to go to the children's hospital in Quezon City. So I told her, why Quezon City is too far from Parang? Then I suggest Amang Rodriguez that, oh, they rejected the pedio doctor in the hospital. So quickly, I got a phone. I called up the head of the social services, Amang Rodriguez. Then I mentioned to her about the situation. Then quickly, this is what you will do. So I talked to the mother, then talked to the pedio doctor that Amang Rodriguez is available. It is not true that there's no gastroenterology in the hospital. Go to the tell the doctor to call Amang Rodriguez and mention my name. So at that moment, after 1 hour, the patient admitted in the hospital. So for me, that's one of the one example of a good leader. Know the situation, know their needs, and action. Application kaagad. Yun para sa akin, yun ang good leader. Yes. And even in the yes.
Go on, go
And
on.
even in yes. And even in the those who are in need of prosthetics, the artificial legs, I also helping them. There are lots of clients going into the office needs help. So when my Sir Hill was the focal person of the PIDAW, Glo, can you help her? Then at once I said yes, I can help you. Then I will give you the requirements. Then I will talk to the tahanang walang hagdan. That at once there is an action after talking to the person in need, and even not only to the prosthetics, I only also with those in need for the wheelchairs, the device, the wheelchairs, the crutches, case, stroller for the children, for the CP, and what's this what's this? Anyway, the 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 wheelchairs that we are given that was given to the beneficiary is customized. I am a member of an international foundation. I was only a member, but they count on me. I was chosen to be the one who will be take charge of looking for somebody, for anybody who needs help for this kind of devices. And we cater not only to not only persons with disabilities, but those who need help. Even you're not a card a PWD ID holder, I attend to that. The stroke person, those who had accident and instant they need the wheelchairs, they need the cane. So I attend to them. But of course, instant availing this is we refer them to the office of the mayor because we have that in the facility. So that's one of the examples that I can say that I am a leader. There are lots more, but these are the concrete examples.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Glo. I think Kem has a question.
Yes po.
Kem?
Yes.
For me, thank you for, ayan, may nakalimutan lang. Wait.
Okay. When waiting for Ken, I just want to mention about we encounter many clients for them in the office. So I got a hard time for this because we don't even know how to do the sign language. So we should know that, di ba? SOP yan. SOP yan. Yes, SOP yan sa amin. But we failed to. We don't have the time to do that. So what we did is through writing. Ang source of communication namin is through writing. So we got a hard time, and it took time for us because especially when there are clients waiting, naka-line up na sila. Then itong client mo na nauna is deaf. So ang hirap. So sabi ko doon sa kay Edward, yung kasama ko sa office, maybe it's about time for us to learn sign language. Maybe Kev, this is the right time, and this is really the perfect time for us to learn in the office. Yeah.
Kim would,
Maybe you can help us. Maybe you
Apo.
can help us with that. As you promised. Yes.
Just like to inform you, Kim signing, na most mga nagwo-worry na deaf and who are, it's like for example, City Hall, it is good that writing is a good one way of communicating with them. So, kasi nga visual ang mga deaf people are visual, they can write, but when you speak, I prefer that you write for them, and also yun, sometimes kasi may mga taong hindi nirerespeto kami when it comes to asking processes. So, it's always in the negative. So, sa amin, wag lang for us, don't focus on the condition of the person. If you don't know how to sign, you have to write yung simpleng English lang. Sometimes there are words that they know that they do not understand. And then next is first, my suggestion would be kung, kung sino yung mas malapit dun sa area na yon, dun sa city, pwede kayong humingi ng support coming from the deaf. And kunwari, yung iba't ibang PWDs that we have, hindi, of course, other PWDs, you see them as normal. But for us deaf, you think na normal kami, kaso kami yung laging huli. We are always being ignored. So, sa lahat, ang ginagawa ng deaf is they want equality as well. As lahat tayo equal. And then that's according to the experience. Yan din yung that's also the feedback coming from the deaf community.
Okay. Okay. Glo, thank you, Cam. And then Glo, what
Yes.
what do you need? What do you need in order to improve as a leader?
Yes, there are lots of for me to learn about on how to be a good leader. First, continuous trainings and workshops. And I am blessed because when there are trainings and seminars happens at the Federation PWD Federation of the Philippines under NCR, I am blessed because I was chosen to attend, when in the absence of the president federation in Marikina, I was always chosen to be the one to attend the meeting. It's a training 3 day training seminars, and I see that I can do my best to participate on that training or seminar, because being a participant, you should be always active and know who you are for this kind of training. So, because this is a big gut to be a good leader, friendly, because they are all leaders. They are all these persons who are attending this kind of seminars are presidents of different areas, different LGUs. And there are times na ako lang yung member, lahat sila president. So, I see to it na I did my best and I will do my best for my LGU.
In terms of topic, Glo, what training topics do you need?
One of the topic is how to become a good leader.
The
And
ones that you
ang
Glo,
yes.
Glo, the ones that you need. The ones that you need. What topics
The ones
that you need?
what strikes me, what I need is about the yung livelihood programs for the persons of disabilities, not only in my area but everywhere, because I also attended regional conferences, and that's one of the big questions until now. When the recent conference I attended to is about the CPKKT, and one of the biggest problem is about livelihood program. So, nililigawan namin ng DOLE nililigawan namin ang Bureau of Agriculture for that. And it will take time. Actually, even the SWD, they told me that they told us that the process with this kind of request is it took 2 years. So long waiting. Long waiting. So yung long waiting na yun, ayun, ano yung mga pwedeng gawin ng mga PW, ng mga persons with disabilities, lalo in my area na imagine 2 years, yung isang linggo pa nga lang na ma-delay yung request mo, nagagalit ka na, nababagot ka na, naiinip ka na, how much more 2 years? So ito yung mga needs na kailangan. And another thing is, to be a good leader, you dapat aware ka din dun sa mga request nila na you should know how to make a request project, a proposal. So tinatakil yun sa mga training seminars.
I see. Thank you, Glo. While Glo
It's a livelihood program, and I was elected. I'm not as leader as the president, but I was elected as overall treasurer for that organization. So they really depend on me. That's it. That's what a good leader for me kind of devices. And we cater not only persons with disabilities, but those who need help. Even you're not a PWD ID holder, I attend to that. The stroke person, those who had for my LTU.
in terms of topic, Glo, what on I think maybe that's the criticism. Okay,
Personal, a big question until now. When the recent conference I attended to is about the TPKT, and one of the biggest problem is about livelihood program. So nililigawan namin ng DOLE, nililigawan namin ang Bureau of Agriculture for that, and it will take time. Actually, even the SWD, they told me that they told us that the process with this kind of request is it took 2 years. So long waiting. So yung long waiting na yun, ayun, ano yung mga pwedeng gawin ng mga PW, ng mga persons with disabilities, lalo in my area na imagine 2 years, yung isang linggo pa nga lang na ma-delay yung request mo, nagagalit ka na, nababagot ka na, naiinip ka na, how much more 2 years? So ito yung mga needs na kailangan. And another thing is, to be a good leader,
it's one thing we can also learn.
That's
So,
wrong. Okay. Yeah. Yung and one of the biggest problem is about livelihood program. So nililigawan namin ng DOLE, nililigawan namin ang Bureau of Agriculture for that, and it will take time. Actually, even the SWD, they told me that they told us that the process with this kind of request is it took 2 years. So long waiting. So yung long waiting na yun, ayun, ano yung mga pwedeng gawin ng mga PW, ng mga persons with disabilities, lalo in my area na imagine 2 years, yung isang linggo pa nga lang na ma-delay yung request mo, nagagalit ka na, nababagot ka na, naiinip ka na, how much more 2 years? So ito yung mga needs na kailangan. And another thing is, to be a good leader, you dapat aware ka din dun sa mga request nila na you should know how to make a request project, a proposal. So, tinatakil yun sa mga training seminars.
I see. Thank you, Glo. While Glo was speaking, what came to my mind is the different kinds of leaders that we want to become. So there's no one kind of leader. The, if you look at the stars, that's how myriad the kind of leaders we can all become. We can see
Yes,
Glo the way I see Glo. Glo is the type of leader na ano, action, lead by action, lead by helping one person at a time, lead by really helping, serving the person to the point of even doing it for the person. I think maybe that's the
yes,
criticism. Okay, sabi
personal. Yes,
they
yes,
should be doing it for themselves. They also
yes.
have a point
But
in
I
that way.
can.
No? Yeah, I mean, the,
Yes, I
in
know.
in leadership, we have this principle of helping somebody to fish and don't fish for them, something like that. Diba? Don't teach somebody to fish and he will be able to fish for life. But if you give him fish for today, he will only have fish for this day. So
Yes,
that's one thing we can all also learn.
that's
So
Rome. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Uh, yung sinasabi ko is, for the 3 years that I am doing this, I think 2 or 3 na personal na ako yung nag-assist going to the different agencies. So most of them, I gave them instructions where to go. These are the requirements and all that. I did that also with you. Remember? Yeah, tell them about that. You should
hindi pa
tell them.
not yet finished, not yet finished. We were interrupted by the
Yeah,
coronavirus
by the
quarantine.
community. Well, yeah, it was interrupted by the community quarantine.
Now,
So,
for the benefit of
but I did my job.
and
Yeah,
for
di
the
ba?
benefit of
When you
everybody, I
after we talk,
requested
I did my job. See?
I
That
requested Glo for financial help for my laboratory tests because there are so many lab tests. A 2D echo, I think that's worth 3,000 pesos. Then
three
2D
plus.
echo, yes, 3 plus. So I'm requesting Glo to help me with that. And si Glo is doing the legwork. Thank you, Glo.
Yes, yes,
Uh, 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 sp- uh, ano ko, that's one of my sometimes I think maybe I'm abusing Glo's
no, no,
uh,
no, no, no. Not
yeah,
naman. Konti lang ba?
konti lang.
Konti lang.
Anyway, see there are different kinds of leaders. Okay, we have a lot of leaders who are imprisoned and yet leading a country, di ba?
Yes,
There
yes,
are some leaders who were shot to death, and yet because of that death, it it made the country come alive. I think in the Philippines we have a special experience in 1986. Yung 1986, do you remember yung ating people power experience
yes,
1986?
yes.
We had the first bloodless, most peaceful revolution that ever happened in the world. And for me that was a turning point because I realized at that time that it is not the elected leader who is the most important. It is the individual citizen doing his part in the leadership. And collectively, as a people, that's what we can do. That's what we can achieve. And
Yes.
we showed the world. We showed the world. And in 1986, we, everybody forgot about 1986. Anyway, that's one
I'm
of the
still
things.
a student that time.
Ako, I was
Yes,
about to graduate in college.
I'm a student at the time in Stella Maris College.
Uh, and the key word for me there was participation. Everybody should participate. How can I participate? What can I contribute?
What I
You said
contribute and what can I do?
yes, yes, you individual from the individual point of view.
Yes.
And then if all of us think this way, then we can have a country really very active in leadership, leading one another for good. Now I'd like to give the opportunity now for Mario. Mario, do you want to become a leader?
Oh, that's so nice.
Thank you,
Mario may,
friends, for
Mario
those
may
great
sleep na.
sharing.
Mario, I hear your television. I hear
Kaya
your
nga,
TV.
What about now?
Okay.
What about now? Can you still hear it?
Okay na. Okay na.
Okay. So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for your heartful sharing of your experiences and your quest to be, or in your search, your, in a way, calling ba o your desire to be of service to your fellow man. And I could feel your sincerity. I could feel your um, desire to make the effort. I mean, in your own way. And the amazing thing is that you are all like me, persons with disability. So, yung sa inyo by birth ako lumabas I was my disability came out late. My left eye, I lost my left eye to glaucoma in 1995. Then my right eye, I've had several surgeries to save the remaining vision that I have. So this early onset makes it a possibility that if I don't know what the creator or what God has plans for me, but if I live long enough, I might be blind in some future time. So, but I don't know. I live for the moment. I live day to day, and it's a blessing that I was able to reconnect with Rome and learn his story, and with Gloria, of course. And now I've met two new friends in AIMEE and in Ken. So, maraming salamat. I'm grateful for this opportunity to share with you. Okay, Rom asked a question, do I want to be a leader? And I think he asked me that in a previous conversation. Ang sabi ko sa kanya, I see myself as a situational leader. If in a, meaning depende what the situation calls for. If in a situation where there are people who would see themselves as being able to lead the group or the people involved or concerned or the stakeholders, depende sa setting, then I would gladly give way to that person and support that person to, in every way possible, whatever resources I can, someone to help the person to lead the group to whatever it is that we're trying to do. Now, if I see that the group, it seems, or the leadership, or there's no leader, there's no one stepping up, so to speak. Then I try to look for somebody who can step up for the role and motivate that person. If I don't see that person within the group, the choices, and then maybe somebody tells me, maybe Mario, it's your time to lead. So then that's the time I step up. So I call that situational leadership. I'd rather give other, because a person in a position of leadership will truly learn a lot. Will learn about his own weaknesses. Will learn about his own strengths. They will be amplified, and it will test his mettle. It will test his courage. It will test his desire, and of course, it will test his faith. So yeah, so in answer to that question, situational leader, what else? I'd like to share also those qualities that you mentioned. the three most important things that I've picked up from your experiences is that from Rome, it's about stepping up. It's about you yourself. You have to nominate yourself, and then you have to elect yourself, and you have to show to the rest of. You have to show everyone that you really want to do this. I want to be leader. I want to lead you guys to where it is we want to go. Okay, where it is that we're going. And then I heard I think from Kem, what I got from her is about leadership is about sensitivity, meaning being able to understand the people that you're leading. And since she's mostly engaged with other PWDs or deaf, this case may hearing disability, then she more or less is able to identify, she's able to relate to what other friends like her are going through, especially with dealing with the general public. And I can only imagine what kind of challenges they face every time they engage society. And of course, with Gloria, it's about being able to step up. Normally, when you are in leadership position, you have that innate authority to delegate responsibilities. And of course, the task is to being able to find out what actions need to be taken in order to achieve a desired goal, and appointing a person to be in charge of it. But Gloria said, it can be like, because the person she would think would be able to do the job won't be able to execute. She herself would cover in a way. She would go to the office involved, or if it's it's just liaison work, then she will do it herself. So those are three important qualities that stood out with me. When Rom, I asked Rom, ano ba yung pwede ko may contribute dito sa gathering na to? He said, una participant, and then later on, that's typical of from, ipopromote na kita, in a way, quote unquote, promote na kita as ano na this speaker. Okay, if you guys haven't heard it yet, I'm advocating this workshop method. It's called the ARVUT workshop method, and I guess it's a form of leadership in a way. The idea is to get everyone involved, a leader should be able to get everyone on the same page. Because naturally, people will have different perceptions of things, and that applies also to the common objective. Sometimes there are many objectives that you want to pursue, like for example, sa PWDs, hindi ko alam, maybe livelihood, maybe enacting more friendly laws to the PWD community. Maybe it could be raising awareness. It could be, and then there's so many objectives that can be listed down. The question is, of course, depende sa manpower na available. It will entirely depend on the priorities that will be set. No, because you have to determine what are your resources to meet those needs. Ito, I'm just speaking from my background as an operations research student from UP. So yun lang yung pwede ko ma-share so far from that experience. But of course, my life naman digressed from that position. Just like Rom, I also delved into to journalism. I was a business reporter for a time. Doon kailangan may konting leadership because you have to talk to big people. So in a way, you have to show confidence. May nagsabi sa inyo na si Rom yata yun. It's about stepping up. No? You have to have that confidence to face those people. So from there, so being able to put everyone on the same page and agree to what should be done sa dami ng options, so sa dami ng gustong gawin. Tapos from there, isa-isahin natin yon. Say, konti lang tayo, pero ganito yung marami tayong gustong gawin. So pipiliin lang natin yung ano yung viable muna, ano yung doables. And then from there, once we get more people, I guess in any organization, mas maraming kasama, mas maraming kakampi. Well, yung expansion, there are so many strategies that we can adopt there. It can be direct recruitment, it can be forming alliances with like-minded groups, then those could be other PWD organizations, or there could be charitable organizations like foundations and advocacies and government agencies involved in it. So there are many strategies for expansion to generate the resource that you need, that you think the group should use to meet its objective. So yun lang, we have to identify what you guys want, what everyone wants. A leader should be able to help clarify what are the important things the organization, the group needs, or the people involved in the organization. So when you say leader, kasi there has to be at least a group of people, formal or informal, and when you say you're a leader, you're taking charge of it. So a leader should be able to harness, identify yung sensitivity. Somebody said about sensitivity, being able to identify the strengths and weakness. He should be a person reader, meaning, ito magaling to magsulat, to magaling to. Sometimes by just direct questions or just listening to them, yeah. And because of that, I go to that third point. No, so aside from getting people on the same page, a leader should also be a good listener. Because if you're just listening without, if you're just hearing what they're saying without listening to what they're trying to say, then it's not the same. No, we want a leader should be able to have a mindset of inclusiveness. No, dapat wala na iiwan. Dapat if you want everyone to be on the same page, everyone should be able to participate. That's why the one I'm sure you've heard of the next show that Rom is having. It's about the ARVUT workshop. You learn more about this technique, and hopefully you can use them in your organizations. And it's a skill that hopefully you will develop, and I will help you every step of the way until such time you feel comfortable that you can do it yourself. So it's not a one-shot thing. It's just going to be an introduction to the method. So those are the key things that comes to mind right now. So number one, being able to put everyone on the same page. Number two, meaning inclusiveness. Everyone should be on this, have that mentality of inclusiveness. Make sure that everyone each and every member is given the proper attention. Ngayon kung marami, ibang usapan na yun. No? Medyo mas maganda i-break into groups to give that attention. And then number two, sensitivity. Yun, binanggit na yan. Being able to listen well and being able to determine the strengths and weakness of each participant, of each group member, because that will be critical in the assignment of tasks. So kailangan may proper matching of duties and responsibilities to specific tasks that will be necessary to achieving the goals of or the dreams or the aspirations of the organization. So number 3, yung listening. Listening. Listening means not just hearing what they're trying to say, not just letting them speak. Tapos hindi mo naman consider yung ideas nila, or hindi mo maipakita na sinasama mo yung sinasabi nila. Then it's important that you listen very well. And I had the opportunity to work abroad as well, and now I'm just in the US, and I've met people who came from different countries as well. Sometimes language can be a barrier as well, but if you can sense what they're trying to say, sometimes words will not be enough, but you can still get the message. So hopefully you can all develop that sensitivity, because in the first place, we are all connected. We are all connected. If that connection is developed, it could be as strong as a connection between a mother and a child. No? It can be a strong connection between twins. No, it can go as high as that. It could be a strong connection as somebody who is a very spiritual person to a non-spiritual person, and then the non-spiritual person learns from that spiritual person. That bond is very strong. So so it's a basic starting point, that we are all connected, and if you use that as a starting point, then everything will follow. Everything will follow, because by nature, the world works in harmony. It's only that people were given free will. Yun ang ano doon nagkaroon siya ng ego. Now, it's a matter of using that ego, that desire, that desire to do something, kung kanino para kanyan. And I can feel that everyone here is trying to use that ego, that self of individuality, the person himself or herself, to be of service to others, to help others. And that was one of the things that Rom told me. Not only that persons with disabilities, help them recognize that they have their own strengths. Yung sinabi rin ni Gloria at saka ni Kem, I believe. So realize those strengths, and then being able to help one another, not only so that they do not depend on help from outside of the PWD community. So yun ang isang maganda sa grupo, or at least us here who are participating in this forum that Rom set up on being a leader. So again, I'd like to thank Rom for this opportunity to share. I'm pretty sure I've missed a lot of things about leadership that I've learned for this, but just picking up on what you guys have and what came to mind in you sharing your experiences, and I hope you picked up something. If there's anything you can take from my lengthy speech, is that we are all connected in some way, and in that connection there is a universal force which is always ready to make that connection strong. Doon nga sa isang forum, doon sa isang Facebook live na, ayan, na udlot na Facebook live ni Rom, we were talking about that. What is the cause and what is the solution to the coronavirus? And, and it shows that the coronavirus is forcing us to rediscover the connection, the natural, the innate connection between us.
Mhm.
The biggest irony of this is that we are now being quarantined, pinaghihiwalay tayo, and yet look at us. We are here, we are connected, we are together, and we are sharing our experiences, we are sharing hearts, we are sharing ideas, and we are together. So I don't know how you guys feel, but I really feel terrific. So don't be afraid. This coronavirus is just a way of helping us reconnect, rediscover that we have to live in harmony, that we should stop thinking of things that benefit ourselves only, but think of others. And you can see that happening already, right? Ang dami nagbo-volunteer. If when we feel some sort of, I don't know if you feel this, yung mga nasa front line, every time I see a Facebook page at a friend of a friend, oh, this doctor died in PGH, and then the following day you see two or three more doctors dying in PGH. Ang sakit eh. Ang sakit eh. But I don't really know these guys. And then you hear in other parts of the world that ang daming namamatay. I mean, you cannot just stop feeling bad. No? So it's just a sign that a sign of our connection. No? So once everyone, enough people rediscover our true connection, which is actually marami na nagtuturo, which is loving your neighbor as yourself, then this coronavirus has no chance to hurt humanity. It has no chance
Okay.
to hurt us, because the connection is a
Okay.
lot more powerful than any virus that can be concocted by man.
Yes. Thank you, Mario, for. I think Kem has a question or a comment.
Yeah.
Wait, nawala. Nawala sa isip. Wait. I think
Baka sige.
2 to 3 things ang important sa akin is that in these pandemic times, in these coronavirus times, whatever it is, hopefully na we still continue to believe and pray na tulungan tayo ni God and na maging strong. We should not feel defeated or overcome by the virus kasi sa atin, we need to protect ourselves. And we still need to be positive, stay positive, whatever it is na sinasabi ng mga tao, still we continue to be positive. Parang ito, we are having this seminar, we're meeting together. And ang importante naman is may nakakausap na mga, for example, mga bingi and different identities. Second is education. At least, and very important yan, may natutunan tayo through education. And then also awareness. Marami kang matutunan when you have awareness as well. And then, you have to stand up on your own. You have to rise up. Kasi mga deaf, ganun din, ang ini-encourage ko sa kanila. They have to rise up and stand up as a leader. So, kasi parang passing the baton kasing nangyayari. So, you should have the responsibility skills, you should have skills ba? Kasi kahit PWD tayo, we should show kung ano yung kaya natin, kung ano yung skills natin. We should be brave and also we should stand up. Yun po ang pagiging leader.
Yeah. Thank you, Kem.
Thank you, Ken.
And
Thank
for
you.
Mario, what I'd like to ask Mario is, are you happy with the kind of leadership that you are imposing upon yourself, yung situational leader na that you call?
My happiness is the friend's happiness eh. if I can, if I see that the person I'm helping is happy, that is my happiness. Yung ako, ala na akong hinahanap eh. I'd like to have a family, of course, but
I mean to the kind of leadership kasi you are applying a certain kind of leadership, yung
oh,
situation
well,
leadership, right?
again, it depends on the the result. Depends on if the the group that I'm helping,
And are you
if
satisfied with it? Ikaw as a leader, yung yung demand mo to yourself, to your sense of responsibility, to your sense of leadership, have you given everything? Are you giving everything already using that
ev-
brand of leadership?
every interaction I get, there will always be lessons to be learned. So, and therefore, every experience, there is something there that can be used in a future event. So the satisfaction doesn't come from, am I happy personally? Um, if if some things don't get accomplished, I cannot say 100% batting average every time I'm involved with a group. It can be so bad. A lot of the people inside the organization have so much ego, meaning thinking only of themselves instead of the benefits for the group. Then that is kind of frustrating. So if I don't have, bali, my frustration or satisfaction comes from not in addition to seeing that a group is able to accomplish what the group wants to do, but also um, discovering those times, especially those times, no, yung the challenging times where I discover my inadequacy or my failure to bring the group to where they want to go. That to me is more important, more than anything else. Kasi kung natulungan ko na yung grupo, edi tapos yan. All we have to do is document the event, document the experience, and then just publicize that experience, share it with everyone, share the video, do a write-up, write a blog, probably. It depends. Because those success stories are worth sharing. So in answer to your question, my personal satisfaction is parang secondary na lang. Yung ako yung mismo yung my happiness is there in the group, the people like that.
What if the leader is taking you to a direction opposite to where you would have taken the group had you taken charge of the leadership?
Una sa lahat, there's an assumption there that the group has already decided where it wants to go. Okay, where it wants to go or what it wants to do, what it wants to accomplish.
Let's say
Now, there is also consensus
Mario,
and who's supposed to
Mario,
lead.
it's not the group, okay? I'm saying the leader of
Yeah. I'm going there. Yun nga.
let's say the
Now,
leader of that group is not consensus building. He's not a consensus builder.
okay.
Taking you to a direction, ganyan. He's not a consensus builder.
If I join a group who is not a consensus builder, is that what you're saying?
If you join a group with a leader who is not a
It's not a consensus builder.
builder, but everybody is following that leader.
they follow are they meeting their objectives?
They are following the leader. I suppose yes.
Then I I can just probably pitch in an idea or two. That's it.
Wherever the leader takes you, you will follow.
Well, I mean, the organization is working. For some reason, everyone is following him kahit hindi siya consensus builder. And since nasusunod yung gusto niya, ano siya, napapasag yung ano niya, na yung mga tao niya, na-accomplish nila yung goals nila. Now, if I see things differently, then all I can do is just suggest. So it's up to the leader kung i-adapt niya or i-modify niya. I mean, he can play around with it. It's just an idea.
What if he
Sabihin
rejects your
ko,
idea? What if he rejects your idea totally?
and then maybe it's not the proper time, or maybe my idea is just, lame brain. Baka hindi maganda yung idea ko. Pwedeng hindi ko alam na nagdaan na pala sila sa ganong proseso tapos walang nangyari. I mean, I have to do my research muna, of course, before I propose an idea. I have to ask questions. I have to probe. So, the last thing I want to do is, change an organization that is already working. The next thing I want to do is increase their connection, elevate their group sense, their collective wisdom, and they can only discover that if they elevate their connection to a higher level. And that's where they can accomplish more.
Thank you, Mario. So far, what I pick up from Mario's responses is Mario is a very good follower. Okay, Mario is a very good follower. And there's this principle in leadership. You cannot be a good leader if you're not a good follower. That's something I really, really understood very well. You cannot be a good leader if you are not a good follower. Okay. And also there's this element of speed. Okay. There's this element of speed. Every leader would have different sense of urgency, and that would be the speed. Okay, the speed of how one would like to achieve something. The way I see it, Mario, is biding his time. Okay, he's taking his time, um, doing things slowly but surely until by the time we know it, Mario has, in fact, been silently leading the group. Kasi may ganong classic leaders the silent leader. The silent leader, slowly in the background, is there guiding, You won't
I'd like to comment on that yung speed,
see.
Roma.
Sige.
Well, in any program, if an organization set an objective, usually may time. It's time bound always. May limit yan. Say dapat by this time ganito yun. So may scheduling yan. Ano yung pwede natin ma-accomplish. Now, of course, if there's a timetable, the program has a timetable, then more or less you can gauge where you are. So it's a form of control in a way.
Yeah, and ako, Mario, I think what you're talking about is project leadership. Okay, pag project leadership, may time frame, okay? But I'm really thinking in terms of a lifelong leadership. Yung lifelong. Parang,
well, what do you mean? This
your
lifetime or next? There's some things that cannot be done in one lifetime.
Yung life mo ngayon as a leader in all aspects of your life, not just a project, not just an organization, but all aspects of your life. Yun ang inaano ko.
Okay.
So in terms of time, yung time mo is one lifetime. Okay? Yung one lifetime to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
you could say that. The soul has one lifetime. Okay.
And we have a lot of examples na of leaders na iba-ibang klase. Okay?
Yes,
have red
Rom. I think I know what you're
para
trying to say, Rom. Yeah, there's so many things I want to do. But my circumstances don't allow me to pursue them all at the same time.
May I know, may the
Oh,
group know
kasi
when was your
may tatay kasi he was diagnosed with cancer. Like metastasized na. So hindi na ako makapag full-time job. So I'm his full-time caregiver. That's one. So kasi ako yung kasama niya sa bahay. So I tend to all his needs. Kami magkakapatid, sabi niya, huwag na natin i-burden si mama kasi may edad na rin siya. Tayo na lang magtulong-tulong. And since sabi ko, sige, I told my siblings, kayo na lang ang magtrabaho. I mean, you just do what you want to do. Ako, kahit ano muna, tsaka na lang ako. Ako na muna mag-alaga kay Papa. So that's all. But then again, you know, the creator arranges things for you so that you're able to learn those things that you need to learn in this life, at least in this lifetime. He gives you a chance to be sensitive to what he's trying to tell you in those little moments, in those big moments, on how to be closer to him, to get to know him more or what he wants to do with your life. Ano yung papel mo dun sa... Kasi everything is interconnected. So, it's like, alam niyo yung sa makina na gears na magkakabit-kabit na magkakawing-kawing na pag umanda rin isa, anda rin isa, and so on. So, nandun tayo lahat eh. Meron tayong gear. Ngayon, minsan, yung iba masyado mabilis, yung iba masyado mabagal, isa hindi dahil gusto sarili mo. I mean, the best analogy would be the human body. So lahat ng organs nagtutulungan. Na pag isang organ na pilayan, merong nagte-take over ng function niya temporarily, and all the resources, yung ibang organs nagsasacrifice ng oxygen nila para yung oxygen na pumapasok sa katawan. I mean, meron ba sa inyo sa medical field? I mean, you can check me on this. Para matulungan yung body na mag-heal. So, nature is that way as well. Kung coronavirus, it has created, check yan sa sa imbalance ng mundo eh. Inabuso na natin ng nature eh. Deforestation, global climate change, tingnan nyo, initin na yung mga bagyo malulupit na, ang baha matataas na, meron ng mga isla sa buong mundo na nakalubog na, what else? The planet has the resources to feed to 2 or 3 more planets, and yet ang dami naghihirap, and yet ang dami nagugutom, and yet ang dami nagkakasakit. Why? Because there's an imbalance in distribution. Dahil merong iba, hindi, gusto ko 10 yung kotse ko. Hindi, gusto ko may bahay ako dyan, may bahay ako doon, may bahay ako din. So, I mean, do you really need those? Well, kung sila gusto nila, but there's nothing wrong with that. Pero kung yun, nagagamit yun sa pagtulong naman sa ibang tao, then no problem. Ang problema kasi yung iba, inisip mo na, paano ba ako, ano ba sa akin dito, paano ba ako kikita dito pa? So, nakakalimutan yung napapag-iwanan. So, no one can accomplish anything by oneself.
Yes,
of course, you can do yung sariling sikap and so on, but imagine if there are 2 of you nagtutulungan, 3 kayo nagtutulungan, 4 kayo nagtutulungan, 5 kayo, hanggang 10 at least, in an organization, and you can do more. It's a spiritual law. It's a spiritual law. If one person annuls to another person, doble yung matatanggap niya. And that every time you give, without expecting any return, the laws of nature rewards you 10 times.
Okay.
If you give something that you don't expect anything in return. So, yun. Those things can help. That's why maganda yung forum na to it's about leadership. And that's why I appreciate Rom giving me a chance to speak before you guys, because I'm not sure if you've heard somebody talk about leadership the way I spoke
Sige.
it. May mga common terms siguro, di ba? Pero
In fact, Mario, yun yung your leadership style, the kind of leader that you are, it's very unique, very unique, and that is how unique everybody can be. Should they decide to become a leader? Should they decide to? Kapiraso lang to. Now we will wrap up this webinar now. I give 1 minute, 1 minute each to comment before we wrap up this webinar. Let's start with Glo. 1 minute to wrap, to comment or something, just to, before we finally end this workshop, this webinar. Silent. Okay. Teka, unmute natin si Glo. Unmute. Naka-mute ka, Glo.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wait.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah. To be a good leader is you should know the persons you are leading to. You should be aware of that, the sensitivity. As what I said, there are times that hindi nila masabi yung kailangan nila. But you should know the body language and eye contact. And in a sensitivity na leading to na kung kailangan i-home visit mo sila, why not? That's what I did. And attend to their needs personally. Attend to their needs, by directing them where to go, and that will come out what really the need is, and leading to the best needs that they are want to get from you. So, and with the group, yung bang makikita mo na they follow, as long as you are on the right track. Because a good leader, you should know your direction, the right direction. You should know your goal. Kailangan malinaw yon. Most of the organizations, they have laws, they have bylaws and regulations, rules and regulations. So a good leader should be clear of them. Maging malinaw sa isang good leader, so that you can lead them in a right direction and to the right track. So that's it.
Okay, thank you, Glo. Mario, 1 minute. 1 minute final.
Yeah. To me, true leadership is being able to feel your constituents and be able to represent their dreams and aspirations and share that common desire, and then guide them through the fulfillment, taking actions to achieve those goals collectively. So, and siguro kasama doon yung sinasabi mo, Rom, being a good follower. So a leader should also be a good follower. He should be an example. He should be flexible, because the techniques mo, yung sinasabi nga ni Glo, techniques, strategies, those things can be learned. Those things can be learned. So, lalo na ngayon sa internet, the resources are so many. Even the American Sign Language, the ASL, the Learning Sign Language sa YouTube, marami ng tutorial. We can, watch the YouTube together and practice together, and with the help of AIMEE and Jay probably. So yung mga skills, tools, those can be learned, mga techniques. Okay? But more importantly, I guess leaders have to be in a way humble so that they can listen very well. Kasi kung yung leader marunong makinig at makukuha niya, maramdaman niya yung talagang gusto sabihin ng constituents niya, then he would be able to put them together and lead them to where they want to be. Mag-guide yung grupo, everyone to that same aspiration. So the question is, yun na lang, ang tanong na lang, ano ba yung gusto niyong gawin? Ano yung gusto mong mangyari? Ngayon, kung marami yun, okay, isa-isay natin. Hindi pwedeng sabay-sabay lang gagawin. Okay. Yun lang. Thank you, Rob.
Yes. Kem, 1 minute. Final comment.
Oh, by the way, ako, 10 seconds lang, 10 seconds lang. You know, I've gone through the different stages, yung pagiging makasarili. I've led groups before. I've led sa private sector before, and I saw myself totally different now. There were times na inuna ko yung sarili ko, and you know, the success wasn't really as expected. So I learned from those mistakes that I've made in previous leadership positions that I've taken, and through these studies that I've done recently, then nagbago na yung pananaw ko sa leadership and human relations. It's all about the connection.
Thank you, Mario. Kem, 1 minute. Final comment before we wrap up.
Wait lang. Okay. First is yung very important yung challenges na kinakaharap natin. Kailangan matuto doon, and then dapat humble. For example, you should not feel na defeated ka. Tapos dapat i-accept yung challenge. Kasi yung challenge na yun, pwede kang mabago dun eh. And then you will learn something, ma-improve yung self mo, and to support din yung mga ideas. Next is how to be successful. Kasi dapat magtulungan. I mean, tulungan yung mga tao with the heart. Dapat brave ka rin. And then, also yung leaders, yun dapat ang magpaging leader. And then, yung first challenge, tapos pagbabago, tapos gamitin mo kung ano meron ka. Yung pagiging leader.
Okay. Thank you, Kem. Okay. And as for me, the leader I want to become, I think it's intimately linked with the question, who is the person I want to become? So if you answer the question, who is the person I want to become? And as for me, I think there's one element that we've not mentioned, and for me that is audacity or boldness. I think that's something that I have challenged myself to become. I want to become audacious. I want to become bold. And for me, that's one quality of a leader that I have demanded for myself. And I am encouraging everybody to demand of themselves to be audacious, to be bold, to go where no man has gone before. Star Trek.
Yeah, but yun nga, the audacity can only be a function of what resources that you have.
I'm closing the...
Sige. Yeah, kung ganito yung capacity, tapos gusto ko gano'n, hindi na, di ba? So, but appropriate audacity, I would say. So, medyo konting, kung ito lang yung capacity, tapos gano'n yung, medyo, you have to be bold to bring them to the next degree.
Okay, Mario cannot refrain himself.
Oo nga eh. Kasi mahirap yung sugod ka na sugod lang eh.
Sige, ako I will refrain from answering rebutting Mario. But in the meantime,
do.
But we
it's
understand
time
what
now.
Rommy's saying. No?
Yes.
We understand what Rommy's saying. It's just rising above yourself.
Okay. All
Till
right.
you discover what you're capable of.
We're saying goodbye now. Goodbye,
Yes.
everybody. Thank you
Maraming
so much.
salamat. The
Bye.
only sign
Bye. Thank
language I
you.
know is this.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Ro.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mario.
Amy.